Good evening, Musk enjoyers. I hope you're doing alright, because it's time to yap about the Neon Collection. So basically, just to give you some context, early this year, we were surprised to see the resurgence of the Neon Collection. More specifically, storages initially, and then of course we got the likes of lockers, and then of course we got the likes of the garage doors. Well, right now, we're about halfway through September, and I want to just kind of look at the progress and see, is everything matching up to expectations? And of course, could these skins potentially get even cheaper? Bit awkward, but we're going to try our best to go through all of this and see, is there an opportunity to jump in and make some profit potentially. Right, so let's go give you all the context. First of all, the May 23 Rust Store. Basically, we didn't have an official complete the sets in May 2024, did we? However, with the likes of the May 23 Rust Store, we had a lot of extra late picks that were all from notable collections. It was a pseudo complete the sets. And one of the notable skins in that Rust Store was the Neon Small Fuel Storage. What? We actually got a small neon storage skin? Cool! But then we had to question back then, were we actually going to get any continuations? Lo and behold, food storage was accepted. So we saw quite a few of them being accepted. We had like a mini collection. We're still waiting for 2 of them if it actually happens. But what kind of progressed was whilst the fuel storage spiked in demand, spiked in price, with a lot of sales, 50,000 subscribers if you can remember, the likes of the food storage, med storage, comp storage, they sold almost as much or maybe a little bit more if I can remember, and basically they weren't doing very good. They immediately went round to their Rust Store price and slightly lower. And I could instantly notice that people were just simply looking at these and thinking, oh yeah, all of these small boxes are going to end up exactly like the large boxes. I'm going to make so much money. So they bought tons of them expecting instant profit. And whilst the fuel storage did, it didn't last forever, did it? So it became a bit of a concern. But of course, with more of these being accepted, eventually we saw the likes of locker skins. So yeah, it evolved into that, and then after that we also had the likes of the garage doors. So it progressed ever so nicely, but I just couldn't help but assume all of these skins were selling a little bit too much. And once we reach around the autumn-fall seasonal dip, once we see a lot of the kids disappear, starting from the likes of September, how bad could it get? Because, of course, with less people playing the game, less demand for skins, lower skin prices, all those neon skins were expected to suffer. And I kept fussing about this so much. With every week when we did the abnormal barders, I was like, guys, I remember how all of these large boxes used to initially behave. And I can show you a quick example. So looking at all of these, we've got the likes of the med storage here. It's not the most expensive large box out of all the neon storages, but it's always been one that's always been stable. It's usually around $5 at its worst, goes up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit. You get the idea. Anyway, as you can see, it's on a bit of a downward trend. We're going through one of the bad times. We're about to go through the likes of October, which is expected to be the period of time in which we see most skins in general reaching their new low points. And if you have a lot of Steam Wallet, if you jump in and buy into many of these skins, you'll be picking them up at their cheapest prices, and if you just hold on to them for a little bit longer, wait until around January time, you could flip them for some good profits, because it's around January time where most of the Western world have, Christmas break, and therefore they have a lot of time to play Rust, and therefore more people playing the game equals more demand for skins and higher skin prices. You get the idea. Anyway, so these skins, a long time back in June, they came out during the likes of the summer, but guess what? Guess what happens after the summer? The autumn-fall seasonal dip. So as you can see, it progresses quite nicely, but then we get closer and closer to October time, and that went all the way down to $1.50. All of these large neon storages sold at $2.49, and yet you can see here, it went all the way down by $1. Don't be surprised by this, because of course it happened to quite a lot of them. Not every single one of them. The initial ones that first came out, there wasn't that many of them compared to the ones that came out after that, so when you look at like the boom storage and whatnot, they have always been a bit more pricey. Anyway, this is a perfect example of the average large box. So I remembered this. I remember this happening, and when I looked at the likes of the Neon Small Fuel Storage, along with the likes of all the other small boxes, I just couldn't help but assume there's going to be problems eventually down the line. So when it came to doing buy orders, which we do every week, if you go look at the likes of my YouTube, you'll notice that we do the likes of abnormal buy orders pretty much every single Wednesday, because of course every Wednesday we're streaming that. In fact, today's a Wednesday, so if you're watching this on the Wednesday, look in the description right now. You'll see a link to my my Twitch, and you'll see that I'll be streaming at 9 PM UK time on Wednesdays, because we have to discuss what prices we want to offer for the likes of the skins in the Rust Store, because we have certain skins that become marketable at an earlier set time every single week. So yeah, we've kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, so back over to here. Basically, we had all of these neon storages, and every Wednesday night we had to discuss how much we wanted to offer for them. And basically, for every storage, I sat there and said, guys, I cannot help but assume that all of these are going to end up down to around $1 at some point. Around October time, potentially at their worst, they're going to end up at around $1. So, knowing this, what prices did we suggest? I think we were doing the likes of 90 cents to $1.10. Yeah, okay, maybe I'll buy them potentially for a little bit more compared to what I was assuming was going to be their lowest price, because I can't be 100% sure. And I'm more than happy to go ahead and buy these at a cheaper price, knowing that eventually, as time goes on, remembering with the likes of the neon large boxes, whilst they might suffer initially, they do end up rising back up in price when times are good again. And as you can see here, for the first year of its existence, it goes down pretty bad during the expected bad time, but after that, post-Christmas, rises up in price, dips a bit during Easter, then rises up even higher again for the likes of the next summer. Oh wow, what you're basically visualising here is what I expect with the likes of all the small boxes. Okay, we get the idea, we get the picture, we understand. Right, so back to the neon small fuel storage. So basically, as we've mentioned, this was the first small box to be accepted for the neon storage set. And of course, as we look over to the likes of its lifetime sales, initially it did spike in price due to the fact that we did get consecutive other neon small boxes being accepted in the following Rust stores. So that worked out alright initially, but it didn't last forever. I was looking at this in the long-term perspective. I knew that this was going to happen, referencing back to, of course, here, we've already pointed out that this happened. So, that didn't happen in like 1 month, that happened over the course of about 4 to 5 months, but eventually things do improve. So, with experience, I remembered how this was all going to roll out. So when it came to doing those buy orders, figuring out what prices to offer, I was sitting here and suggesting 90 cents to $1.10, around $1, because I can accept this. Maybe they don't all go down to around $1. However, if it's at least close to $1 and whatnot, I'm still picking these up for a cheaper price. And eventually, as time goes on, in the further future, even though these sold quite a lot each, it's still expected that, they're going to still rise up in price, rise up in value during the likes of the good times. So, okay, I could accept that. But just don't forget this. They did sell quite a lot. 46,381 subscribers for the fuel storage here. Bit ridiculous, but remember, that's the bare minimum sales. We know at least 46,381 individual people bought that skin, but we don't know how many they bought each. Some people probably just bought one for themselves. Some people probably bought 10. Some people probably bought 100. Some people probably bought 1,000. All right. So do not be surprised when I sit here and say this. There's a good chance there's probably at least 60,000 of these in circulation. Quite a lot. And of course, with less people now playing the game, they're probably not feeling, people that have stopped playing right now, they're probably not feeling that inclined to keep their skins if they're not going to play Rust for a while. So they just probably dump their skins on the Steam market. Lo and behold, here we are. So, if this is currently sitting here at $1.21 and looking at the build-up of all the listings, you've got like a 28 there, a 11 there, a 34. Whilst these are pretty big and fat and a bit unfortunate to see, it's not like it's completely flooding it. It's still a fair bit spread out. When times are good, I can't help but assume this will recover eventually because it's still looking like it's fairly thin. But here we are, $1.21 compared to likes of $1.19. There's quite a lot of strong buy orders here keeping the price up. It's not going below $1.20 anytime soon, it seems. So as long as this remains over the course of the next month and a half, I can't help but assume this very likely will be the lowest point it reaches. So yeah, perhaps it probably couldn't be too bad of an idea to jump in and buy into these right now. Now you're probably sitting there and saying, but Hedge, didn't you say you were suggesting 90 cents to $1.10? Yes, I was. I did do that, and I have picked up some of these skins already. So as you can see, I've got some small comps here. As I go over to here, if I move over to the left, I'm buying random skins there. I don't think this was the correct answer. I'll always sit here and say, make sure you monitor your buy orders because you don't want to have a ton of things being thrown at you if they potentially could go lower in price. I believe that. Oh, here you go. Here you go. That's the answer. I'm buying all of those for about $1.10. But I'm fine with that. As I said, in the further future, I know it will do better. I know people will be wanting to collect all of these and get a full set and whatnot. Even with the likes of the neon large boxes, initially they had around 500 quantity. If I can properly recall, some of them had up to 1,000 quantity at one point. This really isn't that bad. But it's still matched up to the expectation of this was going to happen. They were going to get cheap. So we've fussed about the small fuel storage so much. Honestly, if you didn't already have a builder and you haven't been picking these up already, you could just probably jump in and grab some now. If you look at this in the further future, like with the long-term perspective, yeah, I couldn't help but assume the likes of all of these will be rising up in price ever so nicely during the likes of next summer. Yeah, summer 2025. So now we're looking at the likes of the Neon Small Food Storage. Now this was very alarming when it came out because it sold quite a lot, not as much compared to the fuel storage, which I can verify real quickly, but basically it instantly went in the negative. So 40,000 subscribers there, 6,000 less compared to the fuel storage, and you're going to sit there and say, do I really need a food storage? Well, you know what, that's definitely a potential reason as to why it's struggling. But yeah, this is down to $1.10, and when I'm looking at the bilders here, you still have bilders looking pretty strong, big fat strong ones. I don't think that will be going down that much lower, but you could easily just put down like a $1.02 builder. Wouldn't be surprised if you end up picking a bunch of these up. So yeah, that one did reach down to $1. That did match up to the initial expectation. Okay, cool. Could it still recover? I can't help but assume it will. Look at it. You've got 10 there, you've got 55 there, 18, 69. Those are some pretty big numbers. But we do tend to see a lot of people returning during the likes of the good times. January 2025. The summer of 2025, yeah, it might look a bit awkward right now, but look at it in the future. Can't help but assume it'll probably double in price. That is the expectation by the next summer. Let's see if Hedge is correct. If you're watching this in the future, feel free to comment below and mock me or applaud me if I was, wrong or correct. Right, and then of course we got the likes of the Neon Small Med Storage. This was the one that sold the most. This was the one that did over 50,000 subscribers. So at bare minimum, it definitely has 50,000 plus sales. Chances are this is probably pushing up to 70,000 in circulation. You got a 57 and a 33 there. Oh, not pretty. However, it's still at like $1.30. This is still one of the more expensive small boxes. And the bilders, yeah, that doesn't look like it's going below $1.20. As of now, you could probably go grab some of these with a $1.20 builder, maybe a $1.25 builder. Pick them up whilst you can. Look towards the future. And yeah, I can't help but assume you'll probably be making some decent profits. All right then, so back over to here. We got the likes of the Neon Small Comp Storage. And yeah, basically exactly like the food storage. Down pretty bad. You could just pick these up right now. It wouldn't be that much of a problem. And just to point this out to all of you, small comps sold at $1.49. Large boxes sold at $2.49. So these only went down technically by a little bit compared to what their rush store price was. But it's still cheaper. And if you want to be smarter with your Steam wallet, you'd want to buy them for cheaper, wouldn't you? So here we go. We're at a bit of a, a standoff. The lowest listing is $1.29. The highest builder is $1.28. Honestly, with that big fat builder right there, not surprised that this isn't going any lower. But I've got to bring this up with the likes of the small seed storage. This was the one that sold a lot less compared to the others. This did only 26,000 subscribers. Perhaps in the future, if everybody's trying to get a collection, like a full collection of all of these small storages, seeds might end up becoming the most valuable simply because there's quite a lot less of them compared to all the others. About half as much. Half as much. I hope I said that correct. Right, so, cool. We could see that chances are, if you got the money, you could probably jump in and grab a bunch of these during the likes of, well, now, or wait a month and, jump in and buy them during the likes of October. The difference in price, I don't think, will be that much different. So, point made. Let's now move on and talk about the locker skins. Right, so, this here is a little set, as you can see, but I just can't help but assume people might just use full kit locker. Like, do you ever really have a dedicated locker of just your Hazmat? Do you ever have a dedicated locker for just the likes of your road sign? Wouldn't you just use full kit locker and just have that, constantly everywhere around? Okay, we can talk about that in the future. Let's focus the prices. Right, so when we saw this first come out, we were questioning, would this emulate the behavior of the full, the small fuel storage when one skin was accepted after it? It did. When the Hazmat was accepted, the very next rush store, this went all the way up to $5.50, which was, very nice to look at. Yes, and as you can see, my lowball builder still hasn't picked up any. So it spiked up, but then eventually it still goes down. The inevitability, when you look at this in the long term, you realise basically it was expected, and here we are. So now it's basically back to its rush store price, still in the positive ever so slightly, but I can't help but assume it still might dip just a bit below. These bilders are pretty okay, but they're not big, fat, strong ones. I'm not looking at these quantities going up to about 100, if you know what I mean. But looking at it, I think it's only going to go down to maybe $2. Yeah. So keep an eye on this one over the course of the next few weeks. If it doesn't really change in price that much, maybe you just want to jump in and grab some. Yeah, Yeah. So, yeah, if you're buying them for this price, you're only buying them for a little bit more compared to what they're selling for in the Rust store. So, yeah, can't complain too much. All right, so that's fine. But when we look at the likes of the other neon lockers, here's the funny thing. When these initially first became marketable, they had like a few hundred quantity. Hazmat Locker only has 79 now. So I guess the people that, bought a ton of these kind of realised, you know what? Maybe I should just not dump everything and wait it out for the long term. And that's the smarter way to approach it. So yeah, this was pushing up to like 300 quantity at one point. Nope, down to 79. And with that strong $1.80 barter right there, I don't think that's going down in price that much more. So you could probably go slightly above this, and you could probably grab some right now if you can. You're still buying it for a cheaper price compared to what it sold for in a Rust store. But yeah, I honestly thought with the likes of all of these lockers that they were potentially going to go down to around $1.50. But if they go down to around like $1.90, you're still fairly close. You're still fairly close. You might still pick up a bunch of these. But yeah, doesn't look like they'll be going dramatically down in price. And like when I was looking at them, the best thing that I could compare to was looking at the likes of the Hell locker. Because all of these lockers that you see here, this did like 40,000 subscribers, this did like 26,000 subscribers, and this one did like 25,000 subscribers. I looked at the likes of the Hell locker, and I was reminding myself that that sold for $3, and that did like 30,000 subscribers. Not that insane, but it was the best thing that we could compare to, especially considering that this was accepted last year. So just to remind all of you, initially it goes down in price a fair bit, but looking at that, sitting there at about $1.80, $1.90, and then seeing that it eventually rose all the way back up to about $4 at one point during the summer of 2024. This is basically what I expect for the lockers. Yep, I said that in a previous video, and I'm saying it again. So if you want to look at the likes of all those neon lockers once more, consider the price that they're currently at, consider the highest buy order, make a move, because, yeah, surely they'll work out quite nicely in the future, maybe, possibly. That's up to you to decide. So, cool. And then we can move on to talking about the likes of the garage doors. So I did a recent profit review video, and I was looking at the likes of the core door here, and I was looking at the likes of all the previous garage doors, so literally just these two. And I was quite surprised to see that they have dropped off really badly. Like, if I had to go over to this account once more and just keep moving to the left, you'll see I've been dumped on like ridiculously with these garage doors. Just give it a moment, and there we go. And I'm pretty sure the down garage door was just as bad. It must have happened just a fair bit before. Anyway, yeah, I did question this quite a lot. Who exactly is looking at these garage doors and thinking, yes, I want to add directions to where to go in the base and whatnot. I want to show where my core is. It's a bit counterintuitive, isn't it? So I was questioning that a lot. I was considering, well, maybe it's just got no interest, blah, 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 yep. Anyway, looking at all of these, I suggested 90 cents to $1.30 for the buy orders, and these have already gone lower than that. Yeah. So this is more of a case of I question. Yes, it looks like they got them very cheap, but is there actually a decent amount of people that want to use these? Is there actually demand? Feel free to comment below. I worry for this. Yes, I do. I would just avoid this one. Yeah. Now, chances are we might still potentially see the likes of more of this collection as a whole. There are more garage doors out there, and as I alluded to a little bit earlier, there's still more small boxes. If we do potentially have complete the sets for 2024, we do have 2 storages right there that could still potentially be accepted. And if I were to just quickly navigate over to here, and of course, scroll down, we still have Loot Room and Neon Exit Garage Door. So I don't know if these are going to really make that much of a difference for the already existing skins, but let me just sit here and tell you, if we get the likes of the cards and the berry storage being accepted within the next couple of weeks, do not assume all of these are going to spike in price. They might gain a bit of interest, they might get a lot more, or a fairly decent amount more sales over the course of a week, but then it'll probably just go back down to around here again. We're going through the bad times, people. Less people playing again. There is less demand for skins. And whilst we might still see spikes in demand for a while, it won't last forever, and it will return to likes of this. So, at the very least, grab some whilst you can. But yeah, it is a question of, are we actually going to have the likes of complete the sets? I've made a big fuss about this. Look at the description right now. You'll see the link to my complete the sets candidates collection. All of these skins that you see here are representatives of various collections that are candidates that could be picked from, that could potentially have their skins accepted for complete the sets, or potentially most wanted as well. So yeah, don't look at these skins as the actual potential picks, rather representatives. If I were to actually go over to here and then look over in the workshop page, you'll see most skins will have a collection link, and then you see all of the skins. These truly are all candidates, but I basically picked out one skin to be the representative. So yeah, cool. Anyway, don't want to go on to too much of a tangent over to here. Things could still work out very nicely in the long term. I still expect the likes of that, but of course, yeah, these did sell ridiculously. They are currently suffering because of that. It was expected. I yelled it so much. Expectations were met. Now we have to expect the next thing. When we reach around December, going into January, we will be seeing more people returning. Now, will those returning people look at all of these skins, seeing them at cheaper prices, and think, you know what, I want to get a full collection of these. I'm going to go grab some. I got some spare Christmas money, so I feel like, treating myself. So we'll see how that turns out. But of course, inevitably, there's still the Easter dip afterwards. But then after that, the summertime. So 2025, will you be fun? We shall see. But everything has matched up so far, leading towards the end of 2024. Right, so just to reiterate this, I didn't show off SEMM to APP because there's problems. As you can see, it wasn't working. Yeah. But at least I could show off all the skins with their Steam Market pages. Now, there's one more thing that I need to address. Some of you are probably expecting the likes of my Racetrack video today. Unfortunately, we had some audio issues. So that's been delayed for another week. I do apologise, but the actual video, the whole thing is finished. It's just, we needed to fix up some things with the audio. Small problem, but it will be out. It's a 5-hour-long video of Hedge losing his mind. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to look forward to that. I hate you. But yeah, everything will be rolling out swimmingly. And don't forget, I will be streaming tomorrow for the Rustore rotation. But not only that, I'm also taking part in a cancer charity event. So if I were to quickly go over to here, I'll quickly look up the likes of Beck or something. Oh, look. You can see one of the giveaways she already has established. There we are. Now, if I just quickly scroll down and quickly find the right thing to share. Here we go. Yep. So that's all kicking off. It's not a Twitch drop event, but we're still technically dropping skins because, of course, we have the September Twitch Rivals generic drops. So feel free to drop in, say hello, consider donating because there's a lot of prizes right there. Everybody's welcome, and yeah, that's all I can ask for. So thank you very much for watching me today. I greatly appreciate it. Best of luck with you and your investments. Keep an eye out for all those skins during the likes of October, and of course keep an eye on your own buy orders, because if you're not careful enough, you will be dumped on. You'll see a lot of your money just waste away. But if you're fine, if you can replenish your funds and whatnot, that's fine. But yeah, I've spent like $2,000 in this account over the course of about a month and a half. Just because I left it alone. Yep, that's the state of that. So once again, thank you very much for watching me. Catch you later. See you and goodbye.